Hi everyone and welcome to today's General Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. So, today was the day they found Sabrina and the whole thing was just so sad. Real fast, I wanted to bring up the possibility. I know I still owe an ECAT video. I have to get my Montana things up, but I also want to add another thing to my workload. I was thinking either Saturday or Sunday doing a special Remembrance to Sabrina Santiago video where we talk about the storylines she's had and like kind of reminisce about Sabrina. She's a character I've really liked for a really long time, so it was just something I was throwing around. If you'd be interested in that, let me know. But let's get to today's recap. So we're starting at the jail where Scott tells Julian he has his ticket to freedom, and Julian's like, alright, let's see how that works out. At the courthouse, Alexis doesn't think Julian will plead guilty, so she would have been pleasantly surprised, but you know, Scott kind of stole that away. Paul arrives, and yeah, we all know what that means. So Sam arrives too, so does Ava. Just the whole town is here. So exciting. And Alexis is happy to be totally rid of the Jerome family once this whole thing is over, because she just wants Ava out of her life. And Ava puts on a show to like against Paul, and Sonny like is looking, he's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you talking to him? So then Paul plays along in their little play, all the world's a stage, and did they all really just buy that? Like, I don't know, the whole thing. Ava's like, oh, you're I can't think of the term, and then like they're talking low to each other, and then it's suddenly railroading, you're railroading my brother, and then they're talking low, and then it's like, oh my goodness. So like, I don't know, the whole thing I would have been like, if I was there. So General Hospital cast me as an extra just so I could go in the background. I'm great at it. So Julian is brought in. He's so pretty but so guilty, and Alexis seems unintentionally shook up. Oh my goodness, you'll never guess who just arrived. Red carpet moment. Are you ready? It's Ika! Hello, my baby. Hello. I saw your daddy today. Yes, I did. Okay, she's ready to go. So the trial starts. Hashtag court reporter. And opening statements. Paul goes first. And then Scott asks for a meeting in chambers about admissibility of evidence. Oh no, it starts. Yeah. So the judge is like, let me just, put it in recess and let's see what's going on. I don't feel like going to my chambers. So Alexis knows how bad this is, and she's nauseous. She can't even be in the room. Well, no one's allowed in the room except counsel and the judge. So it's a copy of the warrant, and apparently there was a clerical error where the wrong address was printed. So, it's not Alexis's address, it's some other address. So technically, all the evidence was obtained illegally because it was obtained at the wrong address. How does that even happen? How does someone not double, triple check that? So the judge is going to send for the original. Court is officially in recess. Sonny talks to Jordan about the evidence, and Jordan's like, no, everything's fine. I don't understand. And Paul seems furious. And Paul promises Alexis everything will work out, and then hands her a drink. Oh, you look like you need this. Oh no. So back at the jail, Julian asks Ava what's going on, and she's like, I'll fill you in when you buy me a martini. And so it's like, alright, cool. Back at the courthouse, the judge tells the court that she has looked over the original, and the address was in fact written incorrectly. And just saying, unless the original everything has since been changed, because I doubt Jordan or Anna will let that go through. I lost my point. I don't know. What was I saying? Oh, so if that in fact did happen, like this is real, like nothing's been changed after the fact, why wouldn't Scott have realized that on his own? It's like pretty much the first thing you would look at. So just saying. So that leads me to think Paul has since gone back and like refiled the original and stuff like that. So the recording and all the evidence of the house is inadmissible, including the murder weapon. Oh my goodness. So Jordan fights it, and the judge is like, hey, you're gonna be put in contempt. Don't do that. And she's like, I filed the warrant. Everything was fine. I don't understand. And Scott moves to dismiss. At the Metro Court, Robert has confirmed that a Daphne never lived at that address on Cassie Island, and Lulu thinks Dante wants to give up, which honestly, don't blame him. So Dante tries to make her see that Helena is just trying to torment her, and Lulu wants to find out what happened to her embryo. She has her eye on this, and no one's gonna change it. So Dante finally says it. Look, it would be Stavros' baby. And Dante tries to talk sense into her, and she's focused on the part that's her DNA. She's like, yeah, but it's a part of me. And I understand that too. I feel like there's no right answer here. So she asked if he would have issues loving the child, and he's like, but that's the thing. Right now, there is no child. Like, you're one step ahead of yourself here. So Kevin kind of interrupts, and it probably was for the best. And he wants to talk to Lulu about Laura, and Kevin has to tell Lulu that things were going great, and then he did something stupid. So Dante gets a call. He has to go to the hospital. I wonder why. Oh, I know why. And Lulu invites Kevin to stay. He's like, hey, have a meal with me. So Kevin asks what's going on between her and Dante, so she kind of like goes through it a little bit, and Lulu and Kevin get along really well, and Kevin thinks Lulu should take a step back and ask herself some serious questions. Like, you know, she really is like getting ahead of herself a little bit. So Kevin asks what happens when the novelty of having another child wears off, and she's faced with the reality of what the child represents, and she's holding firm that the child's the innocent one. It's not the child's fault who, like, you know, their father is, or like how they came into this world. And she thinks they'll get over it, and he's like, that very well could be true, but your emotional reaction, both of your emotional reactions, would be very unpredictable. You don't know once the reality of the situation sets in if you're gonna be okay. At the hospital, brace yourself. It gets heavy here. Alright, so if you need to take a second, pause the video, get a drink, not one Paul gives you. Alright, let's go. So Tracy desperately wants Monica to wake up in her Tracy way, and she just is like, fine, I'll correct all your decorating mistakes, ha ha ha. And Tracy tells Monica that she can't do this without her. You know, she needs her here. She needs a counterpoint, you know? Counterpoint. Both work. It's the Quartermains. So Michael arrives with his engagement ring, and talks to Jason real fast and shows him the ring, and oh, they're so excited. He's so happy for him. And Michael kind of vents about Carly, and Jason's like, let's be real. No one will ever be good enough for your mother, so just go with your heart. So the doctor then comes over and has to tell Jason what happened to Monica, because he didn't know. Why don't they call? Why didn't they call him? He should have been called. Sorry, some personal feelings there. So he rushes off to see her. He comes into the room, and Tracy tells him that right now it could go either way. They can't say. And Tracy doubts her I can't think. Like pushing the hospital to stay open. Like she thinks maybe the board was right and it should have been closed. And Jason is like, look, you made the right decision. More people are alive because the hospital stayed open. And Tracy goes for an update, and you know where this is going. So Jason talks to Monica. He sees things from her view now, like how she didn't want him to go off on his own, and now like that he has kids, he can see that. And he tells her all about the baby, and he thanks her for going to the end of the earth for him, and he calls her mom, and I'm like, oh goodness, very emotional day on General Hospital. So I literally can't believe they killed Sabrina. The reality is starting to set in a little bit more. So Michael and Felix run into each other, and Felix sees the ring, and there's this cute little exchange, and he tells him, and like meanwhile Sabrina's dead in the room right behind them. So Felix asks why now, and I'm like, because Felix, it would cause the most emotional trauma. Come on, you live in a soap opera, you don't realize this, but for realsies, now that unfortunately Sabrina is gone, can Felix like have a real storyline instead of just being the background to like Sabrina and her stuff? Because like they were doing really good with like Felix storylines, and then it's like I never see Felix and Epiphany. Give me more of them, please. Like the last 2 years has just been Elizabeth, and that's fine, but like, come on, more people. I want to see more stories. So anyway, sorry, I'm trying to distract myself because I know I'm tearing up and I know what's gonna happen. So Felix has to prep that room, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm a bad person, because when I replied to a comment this morning, I was like, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be absolutely heartbreaking if Felix is the one that finds Sabrina? I need to use my powers for good, because this was not a good use of my powers. This was heartbreaking. So he is the one who finds Sabrina, and oh my goodness. So he's yelling. Michael rushes into, because he hears him yelling, Sabrina, Sabrina. So doctors come in, they try to revive her. Michael is understandably freaking out. Felix is with him, trying to hold him back. Meanwhile, he's like kind of, you know. So Felix it's like, look, Michael, she was gone when we found her. Like, there's nothing they can do, and they pronounce her, and it's official. Sabrina is gone, and I'm really sad. I'm sadder than I think I thought I would be, but yeah, I'm really sad. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that at the end and how I think they should handle this whole thing, or maybe I'll save that if I do the Sabrina video. We'll see how I feel by the end of this. So Dante's there. The police are taking pictures. They did really good death makeup on her, and you know, they're basically, it winds down to a lot of people have access to this room. This is not a restricted room, so there's like no way to know who did this. And Felix is kind of in shock. Michael starts answering the questions because Felix just can't, and he gives his statement, and like, they didn't see anything. They didn't see anyone come in or out. They were there for like almost 10 minutes. So like what happened here? So Dante asks the doctor to speculate cause of death. He says right in front of Felix and Michael that it looks like strangulation, and at this point Felix is just like, he can't even, okay, like, he just, oh my goodness. And they start to think it's like what happened to Elizabeth because she wasn't injected. This was like, you know, this was off the, you know, off. So Michael's angry, obviously, and maybe another Michael murder story, like, you know, Claudia. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I almost, yeah. So Michael wants to see Sabrina, and I'm having flashbacks to seeing Abby at the morgue, and I'm like, I miss Abby. Why does this always happen to us, Michael? Why do we fall in love and then they're just taken from us? So Michael says goodbye, and it's really heart-wrenching, and like, again, starting to sink in. So now end scene. Lulu concedes that Kevin is right. You know, they don't know how it will affect them. It's a little oversimplistic to be like, we'll get over it. And she says, but you know, at the same time, Nicholas was Stavros' son, and like, we all loved him. So she wants to give Rocco a little brother or sister, and you know, but she will take what he said into consideration. Monica does start to wake up. Paul tells the court that they're prepared to keep going. You know, they have enough evidence. You don't have enough evidence. And the judge is like, cool, keep going. And Scott makes his opening statement. Paul calls his first witness, Alexis Davis, and they focus on her crunching up the cup and leaving it on the seat. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Like, I went back to put in that Paul had given her something to drink because I didn't even think anything of it because I'm stupid. And then I'm like, oh no. Oh no, what did he do? Because she drank all of it, whatever it was. Tracy sees Dante, and she's like, oh no, like, me and Tracy are like the same people. And she asks who it is, and then she sees Felix at the, you know, looking through the window, and then she sees Michael, and then she sees Sabrina, and like, oh my goodness, they don't really show her reaction too much. That'll be tomorrow. But Michael shows Sabrina the ring, and he puts the ring on her finger, and I'm like, and well, we're like, evidence, what are you doing? Don't touch your finger. She could have. But at the same time, I guess it's romantic, and he loves her, and it just, Abby flashbacks. Why? Michael is such a good person. He does not deserve this, like, at all. So that is officially it for today's General Hospital recap. I will see you tomorrow. It shouldn't be as late, I'm thinking. Hey, I say that every night and then it turns out being late. But in any event, I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital. And right now, I'm going to tell you how I hope they handle Sabrina's funeral. First of all, I think it'd be a great way to bring Finola Hughes back, because I know she is coming back, so I think she should definitely come with Emma, because Emma should be at that funeral. She was really close to Sabrina, and I don't think it would be right not to have her at the funeral. I know Patrick isn't. I know he's busy. I would love to have him there. I know it's not going to happen just because, you know, real world actors, whatever. But we'll know he's there in spirit. And, yeah, ooh, this kind of took me off guard a little bit. Yeah, we'll still have Amy, right? Sorry, I'm lashing out. Amy, I'm sure she's a lovely person. She's a great actress. But oh my goodness, I can't believe they killed Sabrina. Oh, Britt. Oh, let's bring Britt back. Oh my goodness. And are those rumors about Brian Craig true? Have you heard that he quit? I heard that he quit. But yeah, let's bring Britt back so she can be there and like regret everything she's ever done. And like, oh my goodness, I know it's not gonna happen, but wouldn't that be lovely? Yeah. So. Oh, and I bet, you know, Carlos's brother is going to fight for custody, and Tracy's going to want to keep Teddy, and so is Michael, and oh my goodness, they are going to have the next year is going to be Teddy's custody, okay? I'm just calling it now. 6 months to a year, Teddy's custody. Alright? Alright, I think I'll stop rambling now. I'm grieving. So I will see you tomorrow. More German Hospital. I hope you have a great night. Bye!